You know, if anybody's into drinking at all, here's a fun game. Anytime you hear the name Adam said throughout this entire runtime, take a shot. See how long you last. The Adam Project is a brand new sci-fi adventure exclusive to Netflix. It just launched yesterday at the time of recording. And this is in fact the second collaboration between actor Ryan Reynolds and director Shawn Levy after this very fun piece of cinema came out last year, Free Guy. And to my understanding, if Twitter is anything to go off of, it's not going to be the last time these two work together. But for right now, we have the Adam Project. Of course, it stars Ryan Reynolds, along with a great cast as well. Jennifer Garner is in here, Mark Ruffalo, and Zoe Saldana. And after accidentally crash landing in the year 2022, time-traveling fighter pilot Adam Reed teams up with his 12-year-old self for a mission to save the future. Now, let me just get this part out of the way first before I get into what I really liked about the Adam Project. Yes, this is a film that chances are you've seen done before. The time-traveling element where an older version of somebody goes back in time to see his younger self, you've seen this done before, especially in the action realm with movies like this, Rian Johnson's Looper. Great film, by the way. I haven't seen this in a long time. I kind of want to go back and check it out after this. But once the credits started rolling, there was only one thought that was rolling through my mind. This is basically what would happen if you put Looper into a family-oriented environment. And that's exactly what the Adam Project is. This is not an incomparable feature presentation. There are so many derivative elements throughout this story. But with Shawn Levy at the helm, an actor I've really respected for a long time, ever since the Night at the Museum trilogy, I trust him. And damn it, he presented us with a really good film. This is a visually appealing feature. The CGI in this film, much like Free Guy, is a spectacle to behold. This whole big action climax in here is super pulsating and exciting. And the way people are killed in this movie, it's a really interesting look at hostage-style situations. I'm not going to go deep into spoilers or anything like that, but younger versions of people, when they're killed, their older version goes too. And that leads to some really tense negotiation sequences involving Ryan Reynolds and this young actor who I'll talk about in a moment. But the action, for the most part, directed really well. Shawn Levy doesn't really put in a lot of shaky cam in there. You can see everything fairly clear. A really exciting musical score as well by Rob Simonson to go along with all these action set pieces. The script for this did have 4 writers, but I will admit, there were a couple of really nice zingers thrown in there, namely involving lightsabers. Now, the acting in this film is top-notch across the board. Ryan Reynolds really has his type, and you know what? You can give him crap all you want for saying he just plays the same exact character, but he knows what his type is, and he takes advantage of those opportunities. Red Notice, I mean, that's a very similar role to Wade Wilson he was playing there. Free Guy even had a lot of really similar Deadpool-isms. But if you watch this film, give Ryan Reynolds credit where it's due, because there were so many emotionally grounded moments that are just gut-wrenching. And that's especially when you include Mark Ruffalo's character in there. Now, I went into this film knowing nothing. I didn't know what Mark Ruffalo's character was going into this, but once I figured it out, Mark Ruffalo doesn't appear until about halfway through, so hate to disappoint you Mark Ruffalo fans, but you should know what to expect. But once he finally does show up, whoo boy does it tug at your heartstrings. And I thought Mark Ruffalo was his usual great self. Very dorky character as well. Definitely very similar to Bruce Banner in a lot of ways. This is the thing. There's a lot of these actors in here that know what their types are, and they stick with them. Zoe Saldana, perfect example. She is a badass in this film, wielding a sword or a gun, some type of gigantic weapon, and she's just mowing people down. And the way these kills happen, the way these people just, like, burst and explode, I don't know. It's unlike anything I've ever really seen before done on film. But there's one actor that I'd really like to talk about while we're at it, and that would be Walker Scobell. He's playing the 12-year-old version of Ryan Reynolds' character in here, and he definitely comes off like a humongous smartass, which is what I love to see, because personality-wise, these two interchangeable. Ryan Reynolds, you know how much of a smartass he is on screen. This kid was up to the task. Now, I'm not saying they should do this, but if the time arrives and they happen to do another adaptation of the Bad News Bears, this is your Tanner Boyle. That's granted if it comes out before he ages out of the part, but This kid really impressed me. I thought he, emotionally speaking, he does have a lot of really amazing little moments in there as well. But when he's on screen with Ryan Reynolds and they're trading jabs one after the other, there were a lot of points where he was winning a lot of those arguments too. And it really, really shocked me. The relationship between him and his mother, played by Jennifer Garner, you can just tell. I love Jennifer Garner as an actress, all things considered. But, seeing those two together, you can definitely tell they're mother and son. And guys, this might come as a surprise, but this was one of my favorite films of the year so far. I thought, great cinematography, fantastic direction by Shawn Levy. I cannot wait to see what him and Ryan Reynolds do with Deadpool 3. All the actors across the board, Mark Ruffalo, Jennifer Garner, Zoe Saldana with the small amount of screen time she has. Everybody's on top of their game, not to mention a brilliant child performance. But like I said, this is a movie that's not without its flaws. It's definitely the more family-oriented version of Looper. And I'll just say this much. The villain of this film is played by the great Catherine Keener, who does a marvelous job in this film, as you would expect from her. And the de-aging that they do on Catherine Keener is... CGI is just revolutionary at this point. But this is just such an uninteresting villain, unfortunately. Like, this is the man/woman in the suit. And that is one of my least favorite tropes in cinema, especially for a sci-fi film like this. Those are the things that really sucked about the Iron Man sequels, for anybody who remembers those reviews I made last year. Like, can we just do something different? They sort of do with the de-aging technology they have with Catherine Keener, but other than that, what else is there really to like about this character? It's just a woman in a suit looking to steal somebody's ideas for big business. And then she has a heater run around in the field in the forest and just mow people down for her. But I don't know. Despite the uninspiring villain arc and some really derivative story elements, I really had a blast with the Adam Project. I recommend you guys all check this out on Netflix right now. I do think if I were forced to choose between the two, if you were to just pick one between Turning Red and the Adam Project, it's really up to you. It's all subjective. If you're looking for something more family-oriented, then Turning Red is where it's at. But if you're looking for something extremely exciting, if you're a big fan of the Marvel films, if you like science fiction, if you like Stranger Things especially, the Adam Project will be your best bet for streaming. With all that being said, I'm gonna give the Adam Project a B+. Color me surprised, guys. I had a really fun time with this one. I think you all will too. If you guys have seen this already, let me know what you thought of it down in the nifty comment section below. You guys all know I love creating this content. I love starting the discussion with you guys, but getting to interact with you guys makes things all the more fun for me. And hey, if this is your first time visiting the channel, what the heck are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button and that notification bell right next to it as hard as you possibly can. And please make sure you hit that like button on your way out as well. This really helps get this content out there to more people. And of course, you guys are already aware, but I'm going through a big transition in my life right now, so that's why my content has been a little bit more sparse lately. But I'm looking at a lot of new movies over these next couple weeks. The Lost City and Everything Everywhere All at Once, I'm supremely excited for. And I will be talking about both Fantastic Beasts films before Secrets of Dumbledore comes out April 15th. Obviously, there's a lot of exciting things in the entertainment realm that we can talk about and much, much more. I've got a couple of really fun wrestling podcasts planned in the build-up to the most stupendous two-night WrestleMania in history. Yeah. Right. But y'all are the best, guys. Thank you all so very much again for supporting the channel up to this point. With all that being said, Back Talk, commence.